Hi, I'm Alaric Frinzi, senior musical theater major and dance minor at UCF, the University of Central Florida. Today I'm going to be showing you how to go from this to this. Stay tuned and follow all my tricks, tips, and witty comments. Alright, so first things first, make sure all of our gorgeous locks are pulled out of our face. Don't want any of those hairs get stuck in, especially when we're using fun things like glue, because that's where Elmer's glue should go, on our face. Every queen does this a little bit different in how they apply it, and nothing's right, nothing is wrong, because you're literally putting glue on your face. So for me, I do little circles all through the hairs of my eyebrows. We go and we go and we go. And we say, oh mom, why do you hate me? And you go to the other eyebrow and you just keep circling. So then after you've applied a healthy dosage, then you're going to just take your thin comb and comb all those hairs up. The reason for that is you want to get the hairs to lie as flat as possible. There we go. You kind of look like an evil villain at this point, but that's fun, that's just part of the fantasy. So now while we're waiting for our eyebrows to dry, then we can start onto the lower half of our face, which is where a lot of that carving comes out. So anytime you're doing really thick carving on your face, you want to use a darker color because that's going to just help show up. Oh yeah, it's gonna make you look like you got that nasty spray tan. And you're gonna be overdrawing your lips, so don't be afraid to put some foundation on your lips. You just wanna puff that everywhere. So one thing you see in makeup videos all the time, but you never really hear explained, is why do people dab their faces with their beauty blenders? Why don't they just drag it around, or like use it with a brush? Well, the reason is this is a technique called stippling, and it helps you get the most even blending on your face, rather than if you drag it around, then you're just dragging the product around and it's going to be uneven. It's going to pile in certain places and it's going to not look as nice and even. You can push it around to spread it, but then make sure you stipple to blend. So I would like to address an issue that is tackling the nation right now. It is a serious disease called the no matchies. That's when your face no matchy your neck, no matchy your chest, no matchy your arms, no matchy your tights. Everyone, please make sure you blend to everything. Right now, I'm going to have a serious case of the no matchies because I am not going to be going that far down my chest. And with this first color applied, it looks like we're ready for our second coat of glue. So for the second coat, what I do is I take the hard end of this comb and I just get some glue on there, and then I lay that over the top of the already laid down hair. This is gonna help fill in those cracks even more, because you never wanna have mashed potato face, which is when your glue is really chunky and lumpy, because you know, you're just like casually hiding your eyebrows underneath it. So you want to get it into all those nooks and crannies. And this is the point where you wonder why you didn't go to clown college. Yeah, great. We love that. Okay, now for the other eyebrow. Okay, so now that we finished that, now we're going to go back to the bottom half of my face. So you want to really use something that's really full coverage. This didn't give me exactly the cover that I want, so I'm just going to use a little bit more. Just patting on that same shade that I was using before, making sure we get that full coverage. In the off chance that you thought you didn't look like a full psychopath, now we're going to start using our highlighter and our contours. For highlighter today, what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using Ben Nye Cream Highlighter. It's just a really, really nice light color. So we're going to take that and we're just going to paint that onto where the light parts of our face are. The whole theory with this is that the light, what is the lightest is the most forward, and what's darker is the more backwards. So if you were to paint your whole face white, and I know some drag queens do this, they'll do like a white clown makeup. it pulls everything forward, and then all the work that you have to do after that is taking pieces backwards. So it's a really interesting way to think about how you're doing that makeup. And this is the finished look. Now there's lots more. So now you're gonna take that same beauty blender that you were using before, and you're gonna buff that out, make those nice lights. Turn this into an ASMR video of my beauty blender squishing against my face. I don't know why I open my mouth when I get closer to my eye. It's just always what I do. Not sure I could do makeup if I didn't go, This looks so crazy right now. Oh my goodness. But trust me, it gets better. Now we're going to use our Ben Nye Cream Shadow. It's so ungodly dark. It is so ungodly dark, but I promise you this is the color that you want to use. Now Trixie Mattel describes this step as like just rubbing a fudgesicle on your cheek. So you want to start at your ear and just whoop. Beautiful. Whoop. Then you check in the mirror to make sure your cheekbones are sisters and not cousins. You just blend that up, Maria. Keep going all the way to your hairline. Get that in there. No one's gonna marry you if you don't marry your colors into your hairline, am I right? Oh yeah, we look nice and crazy. Good. So what's really amazing about Trixie Mattel's makeup is that while it is this weird, crazy, dimensional nonsense, what she's doing is she's really just elaborating on like regular beauty trends. Like contouring, like we've seen that blow up, like really, really blow up. So we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same kind of shape to our contour. It's just she's doing them at like a really heightened extent. So we've done that, and then we're gonna do our nice little chin strap of brown, because while we have a man face, we don't want to look like we have one. We're gonna hide our chin. And like Bob Ross taught us, mistakes are just happy little accidents. So now we're gonna go back in with the beauty blender, and we're going to use the opposite side of it, because mama ain't got that beauty blender money. We're just gonna blend out that line. We only want to blend out the top line of our contour, because we want to get, so when you're doing your makeup, the line goes contour, blush, highlighter. So you want to really blend that line in there. I was doing makeup on someone, and I like had to stop myself at one point, and I went, I am so good at makeup. They're like, wow, you're so, you're really humble too. And I went, thanks. Sometimes you just have to stop yourself and be like, I'm a monster, because you deserve it. You know, and when you do your makeup and only one side looks, and one side looks better than the other, you can just cry about that in your car. So now we're just evening out all these lines that we've created. We're gonna go in with a highlight color, and we're gonna follow the bottom edge of our contour, because you really want to cut that out. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's where she lives. Blending is the most important part of any makeup that you do. You want to make sure that your harsh lines are nice and harsh, but you want to make sure that all this contour, that it's all looking like it's just a nice gradient. So you want to have the color relationships that are going on right here are really important. You want to make sure the darkest of your contour is way, 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 way far out, and it gets lighter and lighter and lighter as it goes. Also the same way this way. You want it to be really, really dark right there, and then go up and out. So see how we went from these awkward, awful color blocks, and now we have this gradient that almost gives the illusion that we have these three-dimensional figures on our face. We're really just ignoring every single bony nodule that we have under our skin. And we're just saying, you know what? I'm gonna make it look like something different. And that's so fun. All right, now that we have created kind of the structure that we're wanting our face to have, we are going to take two of my favorite makeup products, Ben Nye Nutriset and a Ben Nye Powder Puff, and we're just gonna shake that on Maria. Massage it into the puff, and then you just whack yourself with it. Anytime you are using a cream product, after you have put that cream product on, you need to set it with powder. Say it louder for the people in back. If you are using a cream product, you need to set it with powder. Otherwise, it is going to move all over, and it's going to get all over your friends, family, dogs, and sisters. To really get this Trixie Mattel look, I'm going to be using this Urban Decay Naked Skin Shapeshifter Contour Palette. Now I'm going to be using a powder to set on top of those places where I highlight it and where I contoured. That's going to give it more depth. This stuff is super pigmented and I love it with all of my heart. Oh yes. All right, so we've kind of carved out all of our face, or all of our bottom half of our face, excluding our nose. But you see we've got this nice soft, you know, a soft, like casual contour, like something you could wear during the day and no one would notice. So we still have a few little purple spots on our eyebrows, but we're gonna go ahead and do another coat the same way that we did before, scraping it off of the glue stick and then just sticking it right on the layer of the glue. So you should really, really lay it on thick. Make sure you are covering up all those scraggly bits. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and she's going on smooth. You want to make sure you go all the way down to the roots of those hairs. Make sure they're all the way covered, not just part of the way covered. And now we're ready for date night. So my eyebrows are almost done. So now what I'm going to do, like I talked about before, Elmer's glue is water soluble. So I'm going to take just a regular makeup wipe and I'm going to go over the top of everything. Because it's water soluble, it's going to dissolve that top layer of glue just a wee bit so that it can get super, super flat right all over the top of my eyebrows. This is just one of those really important steps to helping lock everything in. Okay, now that everything's smooth, then we're gonna take that same makeup wipe and we're just gonna clean up the edges. If there's any lumpies, pick those up. While it's still a little bit wet, we're going to go back to that same powder that we used before, and you are going to use so much, you use so much, and you just press that into your invisible eyebrow. All right, now that we look like the bird woman of Alcatraz, we're gonna go ahead and take our same powder brush, and we're just gonna brush off some of that excess. Then we're gonna start really making some magic happen. So what I start with for doing the rest of my brow cover is I go back to the highlighter, just because it's that thick cream. And I'm gonna just paint that over the eyebrows, brushing in the direction that the eyebrows had been brushed. Because even though you have them covered in glue, you don't wanna give them any excuse to escape. Then we're going to go ahead and get some foundation on there, Mom, and put that, like I said before, no man will love you if you don't blend that all the way to your hairline. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. So then we are going to just blend out, make sure it is all pounded in to that beautiful little eyebrow mound that we have made. And now we are going to go in again with more powder. So lay down all that cream. Brush off that excess. Okay, and now before we start working on all the crazy eyes, because Trixie Mattel has some crazy eye makeup. We're gonna take, again, more powder. We're going to set it under our eye to catch any and all fallout we might have. So I'm going to take this e.l.f. cream eyeliner and I'm gonna take an angled brush. Now we're gonna start working on the crazy winged eye that Trixie has. So now that we've created the shape that we have for our eyeliner, now we're going to start creating our new eyelid, because obviously my real eyelid is under all this goop. So now we're going to create a new one. So Trixie Mattel really draws her inspiration from Barbie. And what would vintage Barbie be without blue eyeshadow? So I'm gonna be going in with some of that. Just gonna use that to draw the outline of your new eyelid. Okay, now similar to our contour, we're gonna wanna keep it the most concentrated towards the outside of the lid. Okay, now you're going to go in and you're going to use a slightly darker color. So I'm gonna use this black, just a touch of it, while I still have the blue on my brush. I'm gonna add that into the corner. So we're gonna clean up that eyelid by taking another brush, and then we are just going to use Ben Nye Clown White, one of the most important colors in everyone's little makeup book. So we're going to use that to paint onto our new lid, cleaning up that line. This is the equivalent of creating a cut crease, which is a modern makeup technique that lots of people use. So now we've created these giant big eyelids, and there's a lot of dimension to them. There's a lot of depth that's going on. We're gonna go with another brush and we're just going to set black eyeshadow on top of the black eyeliner, kind of locking that in. All right, so now we're going to start worrying about the bottom of our eye. So because we've extended the top up so high, now we have to level it out by extending the bottom. So we're gonna go back to that white cream. We're going to draw our new bottom of the eye. Now we're gonna go back to our blue, and we're gonna just follow the edge. All right, and just like how we did up top, we're going to use a tiny, tiny bit of black just to deepen it. All right, there, so we have that same kind of color story happening on the bottom and on the top. Then we're gonna go back to the eyeliner. And just go from where your wing ends. All right, so we finished out tracing our eyes and all that junk. Now we're gonna go back in with the white and we're gonna set all the stuff that's down on the bottom. Now, before we move on to actually drawing on our new eyebrows, we're just gonna add a little bit of my favorite color, glitter. We're gonna go ahead and start drawing on our eyebrows. Yay! So for this, we're going to be using that same darker contour cream as well as a yellow cream, because eyebrow hairs, much like all the other hairs on our body, are not all just one color. When you're doing eyebrows and when you're painting on eyebrows where there were no eyebrows before, what you really want to do is draw where you want the eyebrow to start, draw the arch of it, and then draw the end of it, and then just fill in the dots. Okay, so we've created the outline for our eyebrows. Now we just go in, make all our little hairs. Remember, a good eyebrow is thickest in the middle and then it gets skinnier as we move out. So that's kind of the shape that we've created with these. And this is the one moment in this makeup that you don't really want to worry about blending at all. Get those individual strokes, because that's gonna make it look more like an actual hairy eyebrow. Obviously, we know your eyebrow is not located right next to your hairline, but it's part of the fantasy. All right, now we're going to go in with a little bit of the brown. Hair is three-dimensional and our eyebrows are three-dimensional. So on the bottoms of our eyebrows, it's actually gonna look a little bit darker. So we're gonna wanna focus those hairs towards the bottom and towards the end of it. All right, so we've created our beautiful three-dimensional eyebrows. Oh, look at that dimension. So now that we have done that, we're gonna go ahead and clean up the edges of them using our highlight color that we have used a million times before. Oh yes, see, look at the difference from that eyebrow to that eyebrow. It's so much cleaner looking. You see the dimension of it. We're gonna go ahead and powder that. I'm gonna brush off the excess. We are finally going to do our nose contour. Yay! If you're doing makeup like this, you have to do everything so big, so extra. So the nose, you can't just let it be normal because it's so washed out. So you really have to draw it. So we draw two big railroad tracks in the mud. And round it off at the bottom. So now we're going to go back with the highlight color that we were using before. And that's a Trixie Mattel nose. So now we just want to blend out the contour just a wee bit. Good, and then we want to powder over the top of that. Okay, so we painted on our eyebrows, we have painted on our nose. Now we can see the finish line and we just gotta get there. So next we're going to put on our eyelashes. So usually for real Trixie Mattel makeup, she uses a total of 14 eyelashes on her face. She puts 6 on top, and then 1 on the bottom, and then 1 on the bottom. For me today, because I don't have that kind of TV money that Trixie Mattel has, I have 2 that are going on this one, 2 on top, 1 on bottom, 1 on bottom. So for me, whenever I put on falsies, I like to put the glue on first, and then I let it sit for a touch. I put the glue on the other one. Usually by time glue has been applied to the second lash, the first one is just about ready to be placed on your face. To do a true Trixie Mattel lash, she does not put it right on top of her natural lash. She actually puts it right into the crease of her eye because everything is drawn up so big, you might as well just put the eyelash all the way up there. So it feels really wild to put an eyelash up there. But I mean, has anything about this makeup felt natural? Probably not. So we're going to go back in with that eyeliner, we're gonna go back in with that eyeliner that we were using before. We're just gonna do a little painting and then we'll use a mascara on it. So now that we have the skin covered up, now we're gonna go and we're just gonna take a regular mascara It doesn't matter what kind of mascara you use because you're not really looking at your real eyelashes, you're looking at the fake eyelashes that we've attached. So you just kind of want to cover them up. Ooh, there is a lot on my face. Okay, now we're going to apply our lower eyelashes. We're going to put them right on that line that we created with our eyeliner facing away from our eye, because if you look at your real lashes, they don't point towards your eye, so you don't want to put them the opposite way because it'll look really weird if you do that. Wonderful, now we have all of our eyelashes attached. I don't like to put any mascara on my bottom lash just because one, it's like holding on by a prayer, and two, I think these already look plenty thick enough. Oh, we have to do blush. How could I almost forget? Trixie Mattel is not Trixie Mattel without an obscene amount of blush. So she really likes a bright orangey purpley blush, so I'm gonna be mixing these two awful colors that you should never ever put on your face otherwise. I'm gonna mix those two. I know I mentioned this a while ago, but note how I'm putting the blush, contour, blush, highlight. Really, you want to make sure that that's where your blush lives. Your blush is the transition between your contour and your highlight. All right, so we have kind of carved out everything on our face except for our lips. So now we need to go ahead and do that. Trixie Mattel lipstick, you really want to make like a milk mustache of lipstick. Okay, now that we've created our horrible, awful outline, now we're going to go in with this color that just visually assaults you. So there's some colors that are pink. This color is not pink, this is pink! For our final step, we are going to go in with some highlighter, and we're just gonna get that nice shimmer. See, we have that nice gradient from dark contour blush into the highlighter. Now we've gone into a full Barbie fantasy. All right, so now we take just a moment to let that dry.